So I took the mother down to the police station, and I said to the police, I said, "What's going on? Why are there these additional requests?" And the police officer said to me, it was quite genuine, and he said, "This happens, mate, all the time. If you're going through family court," he said, they're vicious. That they and I explained that the mother worked for legal aid, and he goes, "Mate," he said, they're the most crooked bunch." And I thought, well, yeah, I'm starting to realise this, and I was a bit shocked, and I was thinking, this is totally wrong. Anyway, so after a couple of days, the mother decided that she didn't need those 10 requests, and somehow the application to have those additional requests, because she got caught, was cancelled. But the thing was what was supposed to have happened if I actually went. So whatever you do, try and get the partner or your ex to have no witnesses around, and whatever you do, don't hop into the car with them if you're requesting something, But the thing is the courts, they will not worry about it. Honestly, they are there to protect the lawyers. They are there to protect one party. So don't worry even if you get caught. The other reason why you actually take all the tax stuff is so that way, if it's in such a diabolical mess, it is unfortunate, but you win, because the actual guy, your man, he can't even get the dole, because what happens is when you own a business, well, then they want to see profit and losses, and so you actually have to show them profit and losses before you can get the dole. So what happens is they can't do it, and so then they can't even get the dole, and so then they ask for monies from parents or whatever to keep them surviving, and basically the idea is to cause even friction between your partner and their parents, because then that you're becoming a burden to them. You just got to totally demoralize them as much as you can. In my case, it was over 18 months, I believe, before I could actually get the dole, because it took that much time to actually straighten out the books, and even then the books were just nowhere near correct, and we ended up having to pay, or I having to pay thousands upon thousands of dollars. I think it was 60,000 that I had to actually pay the taxation office, and I still owe them an extra 15 now. And the idea is to force them that they got no choice but to sell the house that they're in. Even though, I mean, I had the house a decade before I met the ex. That's beside the point. The other is if you've got, as my ex was, I met her, and basically she even overstayed her visa, and there's evidence of that, and basically she wasn't even allowed to come back into the country because she overstayed her visa. And the only reason she overstayed her visa was because basically I was her meal, basically I felt now that I was her meal ticket, and this was fraud right from day one. We had an enormous amount of trouble getting her back into the country because she had overstayed her visa, but then also there was also the issues where it wasn't really a marriage over in South Korea either, and basically things happened, and basically I knew that I'd done the wrong thing, and I really didn't think that she would actually ride back to Australia, and I thought it was over even before, well, when I came back from South Korea, I thought it was over, but yeah, she came, and basically I was stuck. I I basically had to continue the relationship. I'd done all the documents, and basically, yeah, I was stuck. The next thing you'll have assistance with is, you know, especially if you've got a corrupt lawyer, and majority of them, they're there to basically extend these cases as long as possible, because the more times that they can go to court, the more times that they make income, you know, for the lawyers. So the next thing is premeditated fraud. What you actually have to do is you have to prove something in black and white that it does look as though it did happen. And so what the mother did, and she's committed perjury, and the judge has committed treason in that she's allowing it, and basically and trying everything possible to hide the fact that there's been criminal activity of lawyers. And I'll explain that further. But what you have to do is as an example, here's my scenario. The mother came to the house, she dropped my daughter off, she allowed overnight visits, and I was thinking, you know, this is, you know, working. Basically, we're moving forward, and you know, certainly I didn't know where she lived. That was all pre set up. And so she came, dropped off my daughter. Now my daughter was still wanting mother's milk. My ex refused to give mother's milk, and basically I knew that was going to be a problem. I said okay, you know, she said no, she'll be fine. And so I thought, okay. And you know, I always like to take, you know, a checklist, basically, make sure that, you know, cross the T's, dot the I's, make sure everything's right. Anyway, so 1 o'clock in the morning comes, and my daughter wakes up, big smile, grin, and more or less she wanted mother's milk. And we went to the fridge, and we got juice and water and milk, and she tried all of them, and then she just looked at me and goes, Mum. Anyway, I knew that she wanted her mum's milk, and so I rang her mum and I said, look, she really wants mummy's milk. And she said, alright, I'll be over there. Anyway, you can see by the telephone record, and I'll post up the telephone records and everything later if the DPP isn't going to get involved. But she then waited an hour, and then I rang back again. I said, you know, where are you? And then she didn't turn up. And finally, I think it was about an hour and a half, and then she finally rang a cab. Anyway, so fine, she came in a cab, and she picked up my daughter, and I said, oh look, you know, I'll pay the cab, because she had already rolled the car, and that's the reason why she came in a cab. And she immediately left. And you know, I didn't think anything of it, I didn't record anything. Basically, I didn't see any issue with it. And then all of a sudden, when the court orders, the first affidavit of the mother comes, then I realised that this is going to be quite serious. What the mother had done is she also rang a cab 7 o'clock in the morning the same day, because it was late at night. So the same day she rang a cab at 7 o'clock in the morning. She basically wrote in the affidavit that she arrived and that she was more or less in a hostage situation, where the judges tried to play that down, that I had my daughter, I was refusing to give her back, the mother had to stay, not on her own will, in a separate room, and that she had to stay up all night listening to see whether my daughter was crying, and it was a big drama, and more or less this was just one of the false allegations out of the 69 of them. And when there's 69 in an affidavit, you've got the guy, you've got the daddy by the balls. It's a case of he ain't got a chance in that courtroom. Anyway, so whatever you do not lose your mobile phone, which has a record that at 6:30 or 5:30 in the morning, or whatever it was, that I rang and I left an SMS at that stage, and I said, well, how did Fiona settle last night? Well, of course, you know, she didn't respond back, because otherwise that would have been evidence. Anyway, so then when it came to court, that was just one of the false allegations. We're talking that you don't brush your teeth, that I never looked after my daughter more than 2 hours a month, that she had come 8 times or 7 times or 6 times, I don't know, but some ridiculous amount of times to show that she was trying, and you name it, whatever can't be proved was in the affidavit. And so she needed to also reinforce it by having police statements. And so soon I'll tell you how to raise those false police statements. All the proofs for the perjury in the courtroom, it was most definitely understood by everyone that it was not possible that the statement that was on the affidavit, that it was purely used to remove my daughter in the beginning, and basically all the lawyers are extremely aware that the mother committed perjury. The judge most definitely knows, and what I've done is on this actual video, you'll see below it, if you open it up in fully, you'll see all the links proving that it was not possible that the mother was at my house, and it can be further backed up with subpoenaing the cab company as to the cost of the cab when she picked up and left, but you know, to suggest the things that she did. And then 8 months later, to make false police statements, one court day before the emergency courtroom hearing. You know, it's just a criminal activity. So we'll go on with the next video.